Vols are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. I made up my mind. I don't expect to ever look back. I'm going to stay at the University of Tennessee.
Reddit did to do. Welcome into more important issues.
We did it!
Apparently, it's already after dark. You don't have to wait around to get more important issues after
We
dark.
did it!
Landon's shirtless. I'm sure you understand why. What a night on Rocky Top. What a time to be a Vol. By God, the Tennessee Vols just did that in front of 102,000 people in Neyland Stadium. Goalpost, get out of here.
In the water. In the water.
Golly, dude, I'm fired up. Everybody should be fired up. From 5 a.m., really 4 a.m. when I woke up, from 5 a.m. all the way until I laid down and couldn't go to sleep because I kept scrolling through Twitter. I knew it. I knew it. What a time to be a Vol, man. Alabama, don't care. We don't give a damn.
I have finally smoked my first cigar, and it was the greatest cigar of all time.
Let's start the standing nose.
I won't show, so I don't want this to get taken down. But
I do want a couple standing ovations.
okay.
First one, and we'll get to some more throughout the show. My first one, though, the Tennessee Volunteers carried the fight to Alabama, and they kept it there for 60 minutes. And it was a phenomenal effort, a phenomenal game. It ain't about playing your best ball. It's about fighting as hard as you can for 60 minutes and letting the rest take care of itself. To the Tennessee Volunteers, congrats. Congratulations. You all deserved it. You all earned it.
I got one. I would like to do one as well.
Yeah.
Nick Saban throwing an absolute hissy fit because he was getting out coached. So let's do that one too. Congrats,
Standing nose
Saban.
all around. Standing nose all around. Can we talk about the one he lost his mind over? What an idiot picking up that ball. What an idiot. And the best part is, you know where that guy's from? He is from Birmingham, Alabama.
Hate to see it.
I mean, just perfect. Just perfect. I don't know why he touched the ball. Where do we start with it? Where do we even start with this game? I mean, it's probably the offense. I probably know the answer. But Pandemonium reigned. Truly reigned.
I just think it's super impressive I'm going to go to Josh Heupel.
Okay.
I think that's where we should start it.
Okay.
Because when he took over this program 18 months ago, I mean, it was in a dumpster. It really was. And, you know, he benefited from the transfer portal. You know, you saw guys, you know, the last two plays in that game were all three transfers. It was Hendon Hooker, it was Brew McCoy, and it was Chase McGrath. So they really benefited. That they've done a really good job in the transfer portal, getting guys in here. It's still not perfect.
Right.
But this team, it's different. There's a different culture. They're not scared of anybody. They don't flinch. They don't panic. You know, when something doesn't go their way, hey, we'll get it next time. Hendon Hooker throws a pick because your tackle gets bum rush right into him, and we as fans, battered ball syndrome, we're thinking, oh, this is the end. Your defense goes out there, gets a stop, and we get the ball back. The Dallas Turner, scoop and score. Again, we're thinking, all right, here we go. That was it.
I'm going to stop you there just because I think that right there, we've said it for weeks now. This team's different. Throw out the history books. Throw out everything you know about the Tennessee Volunteers, about the Alabama Crimson Tide. This team is different. I didn't say it out loud, but in my head, I had for a brief second, I had that thought: this game's over.
Oh yeah,
I let the doubts creep in, and then immediately, the Tennessee Volunteer and me, and then the one that believes in this team right here said, "This team is different. They're going to fight until the end," and they did, and they fought until the end. 15 seconds is too much time for Hendon Hooker in this Tennessee offense. 15 seconds is too much time. That's insane.
We said it on Thursday. Don't give this team any time on the clock, because they will find a chance to score some points. They did that, and we also called Chase McGrath game winner.
I didn't, but I'll take the credit. You did. I'll ride that credit with you, though, if that's okay.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay.
This is both of our shows. Yes, we take credit for every great take that comes out of either one of our mouths.
And we'll blame the bad takes on someone else.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
100%.
Just making sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I honestly have not been able to comprehend it yet. I've already gone and rewatched the game as well. I'm sure you did as well.
Yep.
And it's still a little. I don't know. I'm sure it's every Vol fan. We got the experience of being on the field. We got the experience of kissing the goalpost. We got everything you dream of as a Tennessee fan. Yeah, Landon got molested by the goalpost. And it's still just, we woke up this morning and Emily goes, "Did the Vols really win?" And I go, "Oh yeah, they did. Oh yeah, they did."
That's the thing. Like going into it, I guess it is, just the history that you're like, I don't have just huge expectations. We thought there was a chance that there was a really good chance Tennessee could win that football game going into it.
Mm.
But I don't think that expectation really was like, oh yeah, we're gonna win this football game until Tennessee struck first.
Yeah,
and it's like, holy crap, this is the first time in 13 games that Alabama has scored allowed a touchdown on the opening drive, or in the first quarter, I think.
That's insane.
I think it was the first quarter. So yeah, when you go up 28-10, I'm like, I didn't think it was over.
Yeah,
I knew Alabama was going to come back.
You knew gas still had to be on the pedal. You felt better about it though. You felt better. And
I'm really glad I brought a cigar.
You can't win if you're not prepared, Landon.
Exactly. It was awesome.
I've watched the 98 Florida game so many times, the 82 Alabama game, and not even really to watch the game. It's to watch what the fans get to experience. Like that's what's being. I don't remember who. I think it was one of the guys on CBS. I hate to give Gary Danielson any credit, but one of them said, "If you don't love college football, I don't know what's wrong with you. You don't get that experience anywhere else on the planet." 60,000 people probably at one point. That might be a high number. 50,000 on the field. That might be a high number. You get it at one point. It was awesome, and I know we are going to talk about the game, but truly that experience was fantastic. Yes, Chris, what is up? 15 years of misery gone in one kick. I don't care how many times you beat us before. We got you this one. Hendon Hooker, Josh Heupel, Jeremy Banks, Aaron Beasley, Byron Young, anyone, they aren't scared. They aren't scared. And hey, Landon, will you just look at me one second? It's business. It's business.
Strictly business. Yeah.
Business.
It just makes it so much sweeter. You see Saban pitching the fit, but it's the Henry To'oTo'o, that stupid video that they released. Another thing that got the Ty Simpson thing. It just always rubs me the wrong way. You claim you're a Tennessee fan and then, put the Alabama hat on, and maybe you think it's just business. Well, hey, last night was the same thing, just business.
Yeah, us rushing the field. Guys, it's just we had to. Those goalposts have been up for far too long. They had 100%. To come down. They've become a safety hazard because they've been in the ground so long. Mm-hmm. They had to come down.
They're killing grass.
What do you want us to do?
Yeah.
Speaking, I've already put them in plastic baggies, but look at all this leftover grass residue in my Zen Pouch.
Heck yeah. I put mine in a water bottle because I didn't have a bag yesterday. So today I was just like crushing the water bottle, like getting it into a plastic bag.
I've got them ready for my brothers. Score
Nice.
on it. Yeah. So
it'll be framed.
Yeah.
Got that. Got a checker. Or a shaker, not a checker.
Yep.
One of those
From
things
the field.
From the field. Man,
so much fun.
I mean, we got to be on the field.
How much fun is that, Landon? How much fun is that?
Exactly. And the people they're like, "Oh, you've never, stormed before?" No, I haven't. Because I'm not like Clemson. I do it when they beat, Western Kentucky or, Missouri Valley State University Penitentiary Junior College.
We wait until we beat the number 3 team in the country. Who's before last night, there were arguments for number 1.
Well, they're number 1 in the coaches poll. They're number 3 in the AP poll. So
yeah, like I said, argument for number 1.
Yeah,
it was a top 6 matchup. You went on a last-second field goal, and you hadn't beat them in 15 years. If Alabama fans can't understand why anyone storms for that, you're an idiot, and no one can help you.
Yeah, and Nick Saban kind of after the game, I listened to it a little bit. It just kind of pissed me off. It made me happy that he was so upset, but he couldn't give it just hurt him to give Tennessee any credit.
The only thing he could really say is their offense was good.
That's about as far as they made plays on our side. He pretty much just our secondary didn't make enough plays on their wide receivers. It was right. He didn't want to give Tennessee any credit, which hey, do what you got to do. People still praise him. I know he's the best in the business, but the guy's a dick. And so it just made it feel so much better that we beat him last night.
Yeah, and that's football. The team that makes the fewest mistakes will win, and then but the team that the team that benefits from the mistake still has to capitalize. Hendon Hooker's interception, we get the ball back. Didn't capitalize on that mistake. You did capitalize on the fumble 6. Defensive pass interference on Fant. We capitalize on that mistake and we go score. Alabama capitalizes on, I don't know what to call it. A defensive pass interference is what they called it. They capitalize and score. We capitalize on more mistakes. They throw the ball with 30 seconds left in field goal range 3 times. That's a mistake. That's a coaching mistake too, Nick Saban. That's not a player's mistake. That is a coaching mistake. Mm-hmm. And you can blame it on Bill Bryan. You have the final say. You should be in the headset. We're running the ball here. We have Gibbs in the Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs. We're going to run the football, and we're going to stay in field goal range, and we're going to kick this with we're going to bank them burn timeouts and or kick it with a few seconds left. That's a coaching mistake. Tennessee capitalizes on. And hey, Nick Saban, listen up. That won us the ball game. Your mistake won Tennessee the ball game.
And you can't blame Bill Bryan.
Bill O'Brien. He's terrible.
He scored 49 points.
No, I know.
But you got out coached. If you lose with more talent than the opposing team, you get out. That's out coached. Nick Saban got out coached by Josh Heupel. There's no reason, Tennessee, they're good and they have but they have some issues and they have depth issues. Alabama should have none of that.
Right, and I do want to protest just a little bit.
That team is handpicked.
Right, obviously
Gibbs,
outcoached. But
Jermaine Burton, Steen from Vanderbilt. I mean, they can handpick the transfers that they want, and they have a Heisman-winning quarterback, and they probably have the best running back in all of college football in Jahmyr Gibbs. But guess what? Tennessee outscored them at the end of the day, and they won the ball game.
Yeah, and I want to – obviously, they got outcoached, like you said, more talent. But, man, hands up for so many units on this Tennessee team. That offensive line, that's going to probably be the cleanest game from an offensive line that faces Alabama this year.
Oh, it's insane.
You're going to hear it this week. You're going to hear it. Now, wait till they play Georgia. They're going to give it up to probably Kentucky or South Carolina. Blah, blah, blah. They're not that good. Their defense isn't good. You cannot talk about Will Anderson and that Alabama front 7 all week like they're God's gift to college football. And then when Tennessee beats the absolute piss out of them, act like it's luck. After they did it to LSU the previous week. Be consistent. This Tennessee, they didn't talk about it enough, Landon. We said it after LSU. We said it before Alabama. They did not talk enough about how good of a football team this Tennessee team is. And you said it just a second ago. This team has some issues still. Secondary still has issues. But at the end of the day, they made plays when it mattered, and Tennessee scored the most points, and that's it. Don't care how many yards Bryce Young threw for. Do not give a crap. He did not walk off the field with the victory. He did not get to smoke a cigar in Neyland Stadium. That is the only stat that matters at the end of the day. And Tennessee has now done it 6 times. Some people are respecting him, and then there's Notre Dame beat writers not even putting him in the top 5 and keeping Alabama at number 3. You're a clown. An absolute clown, and Tennessee's going to dance on Notre Dame grave here soon too. If you all can ever be relevant again.
Probably won't.
Exactly. We're not even going to get that pleasure.
We beat Alabama, but yeah, Notre Dame, who'd they lose to? Marshall? At home?
You know why he had Ohio State at number 1? He's like, well, if you beat Notre Dame, you're obviously the best team in the country.
100%.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly's also the best coach.
And I'm not saying Ohio State doesn't have a right to be number 1. I think they have a claim to it. But it's obvious why you have them at number 1. It's very obvious.
Also, who gives a rat's ass about what any beat writer or anybody puts in the AP poll? At the end of the day, if Tennessee's undefeated,
it all takes care of itself.
They're in the college football playoff.
You get to play the number 2 team here in a few weeks. We don't need to worry about rankings. It's all going to take care of itself.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, you control your own destiny. Hey, let's talk about Jalen Hyatt. First, I want to get on the back of the offensive line. I think they did a phenomenal job. We heard so much about Will Anderson, that defensive front. They're so good. Blah blah blah. The only reason why they got let's do that.
Offensive line, stand up, and we got an offensive lineman coming on the show.
Yes,
we
sir.
love the big nasties.
Yes, sir. But I mean, what a game by them. A clean game. They haven't been great up until, but these last 2 weeks they've been dominant.
Well, and if you look at based on last year, even when they weren't playing as good as they did this week, still light years ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we rushed for almost 3 times as much in this game than we did a year ago in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had 65 rushing yards a year ago. We had 180 something this year. So, phenomenal performance. The only reason why they got a sack, it was a coverage sack. It wasn't even offensive line got beat. Hendon Hooker had time to throw it and didn't get rid of it in time, and they got a sack up front. But 2 tackles for loss. I mean, and you scored 52 points on Alabama, the most ever in the Nick Saban era. That is insane.
The most since 1907.
And do I have to remind you? Cedric Tillman didn't play.
Your best receiver did not play. And
Taylor McCullough didn't play. Kamal Haddon didn't play. We had 3 starters out.
Well, and that's no disrespect to Jalen Hyatt, because this is no disrespect to Hendon Hooker. When are we going to start talking about Jalen Hyatt for Heisman? I mean, what a game.
Let's just
not 1, finalists. Not 2, not 3. Come on, LeBron, finish it up for me. 5 touchdowns. 5.
The Kobe thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And props to Heupel and Golish for dialing that up. They knew if they got him on a nickel and a safety, they were going to.
Yeah.
And he was going to beat them. I don't know how Alabama doesn't figure it out. They tried to go dime, nickel, man across the board, zone. It didn't matter.
No.
It didn't matter.
No, they could. And credit to Golish, too. I did listen to the CBS broadcast. Again, one of them mentioned that talking to Golish, and you talk about how last year Tennessee couldn't run the ball against Alabama. He said he's got to be more patient in the run game if he wants those deep ball, big play opportunities to Tennessee's receivers. And that run game was solid. That's a credit to the offensive line. That's a credit to Jabari Small and Jalen Wright as well. That run game, your run game is, I shouldn't say never with Tennessee, but very, very rarely is the run game going to win it for this team, just based on how they run their offense. But in order for the pass game to be as effective, the run game has to be really good, and it was last night.
Yeah.
So credit all around to that Tennessee offensive line, obviously. Jabari Small ran like a man, pissed off. I mean, what a game from him.
Yeah, I thought Jalen Wright ran the ball hard too.
I think Jalen Wright had more yards. I'd have to go back and double check the stats. Jalen Wright, I believe, had more yards, but Jabari Small just big time plays. That touchdown, you can argue he got in if he did or didn't. It's close, whatever. If he didn't, he's getting in on the next play.
Yeah.
So
Brandon Darnell said our O-line Did his job. Will Anderson wasn't even a factor. They gave Hooker all the time he needed for him and Hyatt to cook Alabama's DBs. Absolutely. Yeah, Will Anderson, two tackles. That guy was, he was supposed to be a Heisman finalist. Also, Bryce Young's supposed to be hurt. My ass.
Hey,
that man isn't hurt.
Hey, we want to talk about where SEC games are won. They're won in the trenches. That defensive line, I know Bryce had a game, and he's a Heisman candidate. He's one of the best players in the country, if not the best. It's what he's going to do. It's why he's on the field. But that defensive line gave him hell for 60 minutes. They gave him everything he wanted.
Hendon Hooker didn't have to run for his life. Bryce Young was running for his life. Now, the dude, he's a certified dude.
Yeah.
But guess what? Tennessee has some of those too. And at the end of the day, we got the best of them.
He still made his mistakes. He made a few bad throws.
Yeah.
Tennessee capitalized.
Yeah. Late in that game, I don't know if you noticed, Tennessee had a walk-on.
Yeah.
William Wright at corner. I mean, that's how depleted our secondary is. They're kind of limping. I know they haven't been great this year, but that I think this UT Martin game is a huge game for them to finally get healthy.
Yeah,
somehow,
a couple of guys taking a week off, maybe at least through practice, and you got to get healthy before this back half of the schedule. I'm not going to talk about it too much. I'm just going to say it's not going to be easy.
Yeah,
especially because now you're getting everyone's best game, which you want. You're getting everyone's best game.
Yeah,
you're going to tell me you didn't get out. You're going to tell me you didn't get Alabama's best game.
Oh yeah, we got their best. As
and
soon
I'm not
as I got
saying
to the tailgate, Brody Rollins was like, dude, we got Alabama's best, and we still beat them.
Yeah, and I'm not saying they played the cleanest game they'll play all year. That's not what I mean. I mean they threw everything in the kitchen sink at Tennessee, as well as Tennessee to Alabama.
Yeah.
And Tennessee.
Dialing it up, baby. I love the shovel pass. I love
that play.
And Tennessee we're spread it out and get the ball to our playmakers. But hey, there was a play in that game where Tennessee scored a touchdown on a fullback dive under center with a tight end.
With the tight end.
Dialing it up. I love that. I thought the tight ends played well. Jalen Hyatt and Brew McCoy and Hendon Hooker and Ramel Keaton had a phenomenal game. But I thought the tight ends played well. Princeton Fant made a ton of plays. He had that 2-point conversion, also that touchdown to – and what a stretch. I mean, he looks like he's played some running back in his career, and he definitely has.
Yeah, I think you really – your offense, again, not mistakeless by any means. Not, in my opinion, not their best game. I think they're still – because it wasn't mistakeless, I still think there's some out there. But they showed up. They played so good. I mean, like you said, all around. Tight ends played great, wide receivers. I mean, I can't think of one – person on that offense that you're going, man, I wish we'd had a better game by them.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. I thought total team effort. They got to celebrate, smoke some cigars after. Did you see Jeremiah Crawford puke and then just nod to the Alabama defensive line after that?
Psychopath, and I love it. You got to be psycho.
Man. That was awesome.
That's me at the tailgate after shotgun and a beer.
Yeah.
All right, next.
Man. So I do want to tell a story of how if you see the back of my head, I do have a small knot. So like you can hear, like, it's just a deafening noise. So you don't know like where the noise is coming from. So like I see, like I'm in the crowd and I see the goalpost, like part of it just like past me. I'm thinking it's in pieces. Like it's not going through my mind that the rest of it is like behind me. So like I'm watching it, I'm trying to touch it and everything. And, like people are just like going past and falling on the ground. Well, like I hear like people falling behind me and I'm like, what is going on? So I look back and I just get drilled with the rest of that goalpost. It knocks my sunglasses off. I'm scrambling around like the girl from Scooby-Doo, trying to find my glasses. So, but yeah, it was, I mean,
worth it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Worth it. Okay.
Great story. Yeah.
Just making sure.
Like, damn. Really?
Yeah, there were definitely some people in that crowd leave with a couple bumps, bruises, hopefully no broken bones or anything, but it was pandemonium.
Who took that big thing of turf? My God.
Yeah, for real. Hey, I respect
Did you
Shield Watkins.
bring a shovel in the game?
Right. I respect Shield Watkins. That's why I only pulled up grass.
Yeah.
That's why I only pulled up grass.
It'll
I
be
would have
fine.
gotten turf if I could have.
Here's the thing. Hey, the fine. Steve
Worth
Naismith,
it.
We don't care.
Randy Boyd said it the best. We'll pay it every year if we need to.
I thought he said every week.
Oh, did he say every week? I almost said week. Okay.
Yeah.
No. We're not turning into Clemson now. We're not storming UT Martin, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Don't hear that and to take that the wrong way.
But yeah, they don't care about that fine. And what about the double fine we got? Because we got the one
The field goal post coming down?
No, in Florida, 2006
Oh,
basketball.
you meant doubled up.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We got
How does that not reset after like 10 years?
Yeah.
We're going back to 2006?
Yeah.
Come on.
It should be like the driver's license thing. At some point, they got to fall off your
Yeah,
record, right?
exactly. Yeah. Some of these students still had pacifiers when we beat Bama last.
Right.
That should be a reset for sure. But hey, like you said, we don't care. We don't care.
Well, guys who impressed? You can get to that real quick.
Yeah, I mean the obvious one, Jalen Hyatt, man. Obviously a great game, phenomenal game at LSU as well. Kind of seems like just trending better and better every week. What is in the store for UT Martin and or Kentucky if this is the case? Cedric Tillman should be back by Kentucky, so who you doubling up on? Like, where are you putting that safety help?
I don't know. I also think it goes to recruiting as well. It's like, guys, like it could be a different wide receiver every single week.
Yeah.
How do you not just want to play in this offense?
100%.
But yeah, Jalen Hyatt, dude, just making the most of pretty much every catch. 6 catches, 5 touchdowns, 206 yards. I think the record was 3 by a bunch of different Tennessee receivers in a game, and he got 5. He had to almost double it. So
what a game, dude.
Props. And it's out. We did it against Alabama.
Yeah, this wasn't a UT Martin record.
And Nick Saban he's a defensive guy. So
I think he technically coaches the defensive backs, right?
Yeah, and Jeremy Pruitt did the same thing. So we see how that turned out. I mean, you look at our secondary depth right now. Thanks for Jeremy Pruitt for all you did for our secondary. But yeah, what a performance by him. Brew McCoy, I thought he impressed me with that catch, just being a man.
Yeah,
he almost made that catch. The throw at the end of the half from Joe Milton.
Yeah, where's our guy running underneath that's a touchdown if you have a guy running underneath.
Yeah, I don't know.
That sucked, man. What a freaking bomb. Also, listening to the Gary Danielson and what's his name trying to figure out why Joe Milton's coming in. Because he can throw the ball the length of a football field. That's why he's coming in.
He's got a Josh Allen arm.
He threw it 60 yards on a rope running.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Is he coming in so Hendon doesn't throw an interception? No, that's not it.
He also said something about, I was rewatching it, and he said something about Tennessee doesn't throw over the middle of the field. Because
he said it like 3 times, I'm pretty sure.
Their splits are too wide. No, we split it up. Like there's times that we do motion in or we're bunched. Like they do it a ton of different ways. And
we were burning them on digs. We burned them on digs all night.
Yeah. What are you talking about?
Jalen Hyatt caught a ball on the hashes and took it 70 yards fast.
Slants and good God. He gets paid a lot of money.
He must.
Out there. I'm going to go Jeremy Banks. I thought he lived in the backfield. I think Tim Banks did a really good job of kind of coaching to his strengths this week. And I thought it was one of Jeremy Banks' best games. I mean, some of the plays he was making on Jahmyr Gibbs in the open field, I mean, that's NFL type linebacker.
He was.
He's got dreads.
He was a stud.
10 times better anyway.
Yeah, he was the stud you needed tonight for sure, or last night, excuse me, for sure. I mean, he played better than 10.
He did.
Played better than 10.
Ramel Keaton, I thought he impressed me. probably if he keeps running, he has another touchdown. But he was also open in the end zone, and Hendon Hooker overthrew him.
No, that was a bad route. I'm sorry.
It was.
He came in way too early. If he
really?
stays outside, he might. It's a diving catch.
Well, the one it could have been holding on the one that the one that wasn't in the end zone because the guy falls into his leg.
Yeah.
And it kind of trips him up a little bit. But, yeah, he probably could have just kept running and probably would have made that catch, and it's a touchdown. But, yeah, I think he just continues to make plays and, doing what Tennessee does, get the guys the football and let them make plays. I thought he looked good in the open field, breaking some tackles. I thought he looked good against LSU as well, breaking some tackles, getting upfield and getting extra yards after the catch because he's not a speedster by any means.
Yeah, he's your number 4 receiver too.
Yeah,
and I know that sounds kind of tacky because your number 4 receiver should be making plays, but you have 3 really dang good ones in front of him.
Yeah,
best receiving group in the nation. I'll say it with zero hesitation now. Zero hesitation.
Oh yeah, 100%. Amari Thomas is another one for me. I thought he played really well. Again, he got the sack on Bryce Young, and
did he get a sack last week? I don't think he ever did he?
No.
I know he's been close. I know he's been close. I think he has 2 on the year.
Yeah. But he was making some plays like down the field as well, making tackles. And I think Dominic Bailey is one that, had one on a wide receiver screen almost to the opposite sideline. But yeah, those guys are getting downfield, and I love to see the hustle. And I don't know what it's like to be that big and, run that far, but it seems like it'd be a tough task. So props to them for doing it.
Yeah. And too, how good our defensive line played. Alabama's offensive line played really good.
Yeah.
They made it really hard on Tennessee. They did a great job of picking up those stunts and twists that we talked about that seemed to get really polished at LSU. And I thought, obviously Tennessee got their due with it last night. They got to the quarterback, a lot of QB hurries, but Alabama's offensive line played well. It was Alabama. Alabama gave me their best shot.
Yeah,
they did.
100%. Yeah. Do you have anybody else you want to add to that list?
Yeah, I don't want to. I feel like we over-mention it, but I don't think it can be overstated. Hendon Hooker, man. We threw the ball 30 times. 30 times. I know he had an interception. He had a fumble that was miscommunication with Jabari Small there where Jabari thought Hendon was keeping it and vice versa. But overall, played a pretty clean game, and he's just efficient.
Yeah.
21 of 30. Bryce Young threw the ball 52 times in that game. Efficient as all get out. He doesn't need to throw the ball 400 yards. He's got a great running game around him. And then he's got Jalen Hyatt, who's going to take it to the house if he just touches the ball. Yeah. He had 6 catches, by the way. I hate to go back to Jalen Hyatt while I'm talking about Hendon Hooker. He had 6 catches. He's a walking touchdown.
Those are dots from Hendon Hooker as well.
Yeah,
hitting him in stride. When a guy's going that fast so far down the field, it's hard to put it on, in a breadbasket like that. But he did it over and over and over again.
Yeah, 100%.
We got some questions real quick. Let's get to that. We're going to get a special guest on here in a second.
Chase McGrath. I know he misses that extra point, but what a bounce back, baby. James Wilhoit, maybe.
Does that not remind you of Florida with James Wilhoit?
That's what. I don't remember who said it. Someone said it around me. They said, "Oh, is this a 04 scenario?" And I was like, "Shh. Let the ball get kicked first." Shut up. Oh man, what a night! Also, that ball did get tipped. We watched that video in the restaurant. It didn't look like it. That ball got tipped. Yeah, that's insane. I mean, obviously, the least tipped I've ever seen, but it did get touched.
It wasn't no.
Didn't matter.
It wasn't no Mount Cody.
No, he didn't. It didn't hit a 600-pound wall in the chest.
But yeah, it was probably the greatest, ugliest kick of all time.
It ain't gotta be pretty. It ain't gotta be pretty, baby. It's just gotta go in.
Yep. So good for Chase McGrath. He's a legend. Go ahead and retire the number.
I like they said he'll never have to buy a meal. I was like, yeah, maybe a meal, but I just think it's more drinks. He'll never have to buy a drink. Here's the thing: Tennessee fans are everywhere. He may never have to buy a drink the rest of his life.
Yeah,
anywhere. You can walk.
Are we just going to add a list of people who doesn't have to buy one? So like,
yeah.
Rick Barnes is up there now. Chase McGrath. Like, who gets added that list next? How do I get on that list?
Hendon Hooker is probably going to be on that list for the end of the season.
He probably will.
And maybe Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah,
Jalen Hyatt may already be on that list.
Before we get a special guest on real quick, let's get some questions. Credence Wood said this is the biggest win since.
Well, that's a difficult question because the 16 Georgia win would be massive if your season doesn't go to crap right after it.
Yeah. I think at the time it's got to be 16 Georgia. And maybe 16 Florida was a huge win.
Yeah, I think everything we know right now, this is the biggest win since Florida in 98. Everything we know right now, I think.
Yeah.
04 over Florida was obviously huge. 98, though, it set you up for a national championship. And then you get – and the reason I say that, too, is I'm factoring in a lot of things.
Could Arkansas 98 fit in that as well?
Yes, but also
I'm just asking the question.
Yeah. No, I think yes, but I'm also factoring kind of how you did it. And I know, Florida Alabama had to make mistakes for Tennessee to have that chance, but Tennessee still had to capitalize, kind of similar to Florida there, which I know we're talking missed field goal. That's Arkansas literally fumbled the game away.
Yeah.
And so, like, kind of factoring in everything. And then you get the emotions of the fans and crowd involved. And that's why, like I said, everything I know now, that's why I'm saying.
Yeah.
But,
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. 98 Florida. One more, Keith Grubb.
And I'm pulling it up.
Will Anderson still missing? Didn't see him at all last night. That's our question. I like that question. Good one.
Is who missing? I'm sorry.
Will Anderson. He might be in the river with the goalpost. I have no clue.
Also, Tennessee in 98, I was trying to get the exact number, snapped a 5-game losing streak to Florida.
Okay.
And like you said, just go back. If Tennessee has a better year in 16, that probably changes my answer.
Yeah.
So.
All right, guys. Well, we got a special guest coming on. VFL Thomas Edwards. Thomas, what's up, brother?
Hey, how we doing today?
Great, man.
I'm literally doing, I think, the best I've ever done in my life.
Oh, my gosh. The most glorious day. I'm driving back to Nashville today. You can hear my voice, too. It's pretty tired. It's pretty labored, man. I had a long day yesterday yelling on it. But, driving back from Knoxville to Nashville on I-40 today, I think that was the most glorious drive ever. Crisp, full. It was nice gray weather outside. I felt like the weather. But, you got to see the leaves changing and going back with the Vols win, man. It was unbelievable. How you guys doing? How's your day going? Did you get into anything fun today?
I just scrolled Twitter and rewatched the game is all I did.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Like, there was a couple times where, all right, I'm going to open up a different app and see if it's not all Tennessee stuff, and then every single thing, like whether it was national media, whether it was your algorithm thing that you're going to see for your own specific content, like it was all Tennessee, man. So I did the same thing, drinking through a fire hose today and loving every second of it.
I love it. So you were at the game?
Yeah, I was. I actually didn't. Like, a bunch of my friends were in town, and I hadn't seen them in a while, so I watched it with them. But I tailgated and then went back right over there right after the game was over. So, I kind of smacking myself on the forehead for making that decision. But I hadn't seen those people in a while, so I think maybe my moral compass will align after I did that instead of partying with everybody else. But hey, I had plenty of fun after the game, and tailgating, and the atmosphere there was just absolutely perfect. Like the weather, passing people. Once we won, passing every single person was like you was a friend you haven't seen in 10 years. You're high-fiving everybody. It was awesome, man.
COVID
gave
was
a lot of hugs
last night.
Yeah, that's right. I gave so many just random people, man. It was absolutely the best feeling.
So you smoked a cigar, right?
Oh, absolutely. A couple of them. And I'm not even a cigar guy, and guys are just talking to me like, hey, you got to try this one. And I just kind of like sit there and nod, I just sure. It's probably it lights on fire and it's smoky. I can't really taste the mahogany in this, you know. So sometimes I can't really get all into the cigar culture. But yesterday I was an aficionado.
Nice.
I was slinging them.
That was my first one ever. Was last night.
Wow.
Yeah. I've been saving it. All I get for like cruising gift is cigars, and so I just have like a box full of cigars now.
True.
So we stopped in Tuscaloosa on the way back from LSU and got them in Tuscaloosa, and we're just ready to go.
Oh man.
So
man, that's what a great memory for your first time smoking a cigar.
Oh man.
I've tried to get him to like a few weddings, celebrations. I've tried to get him, and he's like, I haven't. I'm like, you're right. We got to wait. We got to wait till Bama. You're right. So that
now you're about to be on your back porch, just
hitting
all the ones you got. It's like,
chronic.
This is great. This is great. Yeah, this was great. This is great, man. I don't know what I've been missing out on.
It's definitely a good first memory. You talked about the atmosphere. You always played at Tennessee too, so you don't experience game day in the same way when you're playing. Has it ever felt like that though? It was crazy driving in on Friday.
Yeah, it was. I mean, just talking. My favorite gauge of this is talking to people that are way older than me, people that have been doing it for a long time, you know, and seeing their expressions and how they evaluate this experience of a game day compared to 2005, compared to 1994. You know, just like random years that they may have great memories. And it seemed like yesterday the consensus opinion from everybody was this is the best one that we've had, the best environment, the best tailgate environment, the best win. You know, I love that older generation of fan, you know, having that real deep satisfaction of like, this is it. This is the, you know, you're seeing husband and wives kissing each other out there on the field, and they haven't felt love in years, you know, like yesterday probably saved a lot of people money in like divorces and stuff too, you know, rekindled the fire, you know.
Josh Heupel's like saving not only just Vol Nation, he's saving marriage. Right?
That's right. Yeah. You know, it could have been the spark that they needed, you know, it could have been the spark that they needed.
There'll be a lot of babies named Jalen running around in a few months.
Or Chase.
Or Hooker.
Yeah.
No, probably not that.
Maybe
probably not that one.
Caleb, you had a great quote in the group text after. It was something was on upset alert.
I did mention someone, I won't name them, birth control maybe being on upset alert. So
oh yeah, man. I was just thinking of Chase McGrath, you know, walking off, hitting that field goal at the end of the game. I was like, dude, they better watch out for that guy tonight, because that dude could probably run a car into the ocean or off the bridge, not the ocean, run a car off the bridge, and somehow it wouldn't be his fault. I mean, he probably had a get out of jail free card in real life in Knoxville, Tennessee on Saturday.
Yeah, hopefully
he didn't have to exercise it. Hopefully he didn't have to exercise it. You know, that's a good one to keep in your pocket.
Yeah, definitely. Do you know who I am? That's what they were talking about. I don't know with how many Tennessee fans are just everywhere in this world. You can like run into them in a different country. I don't think he'll have to buy a drink for the rest of his life. Period.
Absolutely. Absolutely, dude. And what I said to my buddy that was Jack McPherson, I was like, dude, he just secured a job anywhere in Tennessee the rest of his life. You know, like, dude, like that guy could be 23 years old and have like the same relationships as a 20-year-old insurance salesman and the same kind of trust levels just because he made that kick, you know.
Yeah,
he's gonna have a whole business portfolio of investments. You know, like he's like, yeah, take all my money, man. We trust you.
Yeah, he doesn't need any experience whatsoever.
Yeah, no, he's good, man.
Well, I do want to ask you too, as an offensive lineman, tell me what you think about these big nasties. We just talked about them before you hopped on. What about these big nasties?
Man, I like to say that I've said this before. Like when I was at school, I was a profound backup. You know, I was the definition of a bus rider steak eater. You know, I traveled around the country and ate the best hotel steaks that are to offer. So, I mean, I played every now and then. I was a backup, you know, when we're up a lot or down a lot. But that in itself, a guy like me, and I'd like to say I'm a pretty high character guy, but I'm not the most athletic guy. The fact that I was the guy traveling and playing on the team kind of speaks it a little bit more. You know, now we got 7 deep guys that could start. You know, there's people that it's plug and play. People are moving around. When I was playing, you know, if we lost that one plug in the boat, one board in the boat, and water started leaking, it was really hard to kind of patch it up. You know, and they have real depth and real size at O-lineman and real nasty dudes too. Guys that, you know, and I've hung out with a bunch of them, you know, just from various things coming back to school, and they're all super tight. They're all together. They're always running around together. I think that that is such a pivotal part of our success. I mean, like they're handling the threats that come up against them week after week, and there's a little slip in the crack every now and then, but man, they're head and shoulders above where we were at that time. I think, especially just comparing programs year 2 to year 2. I mean, goodness gracious, man, they got some big boys that are ready to block.
Yeah, I think they're just light years ahead of even last year. It's amazing the growth that. I mean, you lost one of your, not just your most senior guy, but one of your better guys, and you look light years ahead. It's blown my mind. I expected them to get better. I didn't expect to be where they're at, honestly.
Mm-hmm. And I think, as I've heard everyone say system guy all the time, system because of Heupel, and I think that discredits a lot of people's ability. But I think that when you buy into the offense as an offensive line, it only promotes your success as an individual offensive lineman. If you understand, we got to be on the ball, we got to be moving fast, we can't be getting false starts, we can't be the reason we're slowing our offense down. They've done a really good job of understanding that this year and minimizing those mistakes and being able to protect Hendon. I mean, like there's been a lot of threat. I mean, Will Anderson, man, like he gets more screen time than I don't even know. That dude's on TV every time I turn it on. Like he's the bee's knees. Everybody wants to talk about it. But then like we did a very sizable job handling him. Like that's and that's the kind of, they stack those chips. They week after week they continue to do that. So it's super exciting, and the fact that the guys are just all good guys and they love on each other and they play for each other is even more exciting.
Yeah, and I think that group it doesn't get enough credit for like having to have the confidence to play that position. So like you look at, even a year ago, we rushed for 65 yards. This game, we rushed for 182. You look at Jeremiah Crawford, anytime like you're starting left tackle goes out, you think, oh crap, here it comes. Well, Jeremiah Crawford goes in there and pukes through his face mask and then just nods at the defensive line like, "Hey, I'm coming."
Yeah, man, that made me want to run through a brick wall, man. Because O-line is a psychotic position. Like you're just putting yourself through torture all the time. You never touch a football. I went months in practice without touching a football. like you're not playing football. Like you're just out there hitting things all the time. And I think we've done a good job of, giving them the credit. You got your big guys that are like, like Jeff Schwartz on Instagram he highlights, your O lineman, and it's becoming cool to be this hard, the hard nose, hard edge O lineman. I think it's, it's definitely appreciated, but dude, it just sucks. It's such a bad position to play. Like it's hard every play. Your fingers are getting broken. Your feet are getting stepped on. Like no one knows your name. Like you're not scoring touchdowns. Like, but still you're hands in the dirt every play, and those guys are they're taking advantage of it, and they're nasty with it.
Right. You may be biased, and that's fine. We're obviously biased for Tennessee, so be as biased as you want here. We've always talked about how pitchers are probably the most psychotic people on planet. Is it pitchers or offensive linemen? Where's the psychotic level at?
I think pitchers just have to have that next level of just delivery, mentally. Like they can't falter, because if they do, they get pulled. But I mean, I think physically, it's more psychotic to play O-line. Like it's just like I tore my labrum in my shoulder, had 2 labrum reconstructions, and they're still both torn. I'm not gonna be able to throw a football in 10 years, but I probably won't. I'll be like, never mind. I about made a bad joke, but yeah, I'm not gonna be able to put my arms over my head, and which is it's a risk that it's a sacrifice I was willing to make to play football. Like I'm not complaining about that. It's just the nature of what it is. But to your question, I think a pitcher's got something a little bit more wrong in the head, because they have to. They're so on the stage. So is an offensive lineman, but they got the quarterback-esque spotlight on them, where they're talking about them in the same breath, and then they still have to deliver X number of pitches the correct way. So I mean, they both probably are really not that fun on the inside, but look great on the outside.
Right. And I never thought about it. You never touch a football. That never, just obviously you don't, but. Never thought about it.
Yeah, you think like there would be times where, like, eventually when I gotten older in my career, I kind of learned to kind of cut loose a little bit, and like get out there a couple minutes early, go with the kickers, throw a football to them here and there, like, because like if your practice is still going to be miserable and hard and tough, you might as well go out there and realize, oh yeah, this is football. I'm not just like simulating a car wreck 40 times in the next 2 hours, like it's so that eventually I got a kind of hang of it. And I was like, I made it a point. Like, I'm going to go out there and throw the football around a little bit and show how far I can throw it and how athletic I am. And, just kidding. That was kind of a joke.
Oh, no, I believe you. You can just lie about it.
We'll take it. So you're a Tennessee guy from Kingsport.
Yeah.
The third Saturday of October, it just means something to people in Tennessee. What does it kind of mean to you, like as a player, and then just being a Tennessee fan in general?
Yeah, great question. I think, growing up in Tennessee, my parents weren't really Tennessee fans, but in Kingsport, Tennessee, which is an hour and a half east of Knoxville, like that's the team that you like. I mean, if your parents don't like it, then their best friends like it. It's a 75% chance that the flag on your neighbor's porch is a Tennessee flag. So, I think of all these people that when I left Dobbins been in high school in Kingsport, all these people from my church congregation or just in the community that are these, diehard fans that I've known my whole life, whether like my librarian from like elementary school, the biggest Vol fan ever. And whenever I went, like she was like always like, I'm watching for you. I can't wait to see you whatever you do. We'll follow everything you do, and like that right there, like just shows like we had at that point, we were excited about getting Coach Jones. Like we hadn't really knocked any doors down. Like people were still have the level of excitement that we have like today. Not obviously not today, but like they still are excited about this program. And I think, to be able to go through what we've gone through and the ups and the downs and the dramatic Twitter, takeover for the hiring stuff and this coach, that coach, so much stuff going on. Like it was just so relieving. I watched because like I said, I didn't go to the game. I was watching it with my friends. I watched the TV copy until the commercial went on at the end of the game. I was like, this is not over. Like there's no way that we just hit this. It's like, I need to hear Liberty Mutual, whatever, I need to hear them talk about that again. Like just to tell me that it's over, because it was so surreal. The fact that, and you think about all those people that have just put so much time and care and love, and they decorate their house every year with Tennessee stuff. That's Tennessee Christmas stuff. And they take that down. They put Tennessee Valentine's, like they're all in all the time. Like that's the kind of people that I think about. Like, I think that the people that they work their whole year in their jobs just to get enough money to go to one game, and they get a chance to say, like, or even the ones that are there or the ones that weren't there, like they just get a chance to say that like they're a part of that. And I think that to be able to pull a win out at home in a commanding way, they have their whole squad. Bryce Young absolutely put on a Heisman level performance as a quarterback. We didn't have our quarterback. There's none of this. I mean, the obviously the first one we always see is the penalties, like the refs gave you that game. No, we took the game because there was 100,000 pissed off fans in the stands yelling, and it was 15 years of, we know we can win this game. And that is what makes you have penalties, is that pressure. And it wasn't just, so like the whole environment, everything was just absolute icing on the cake to end a huge drought. And I mean, like the whole state of Tennessee is just lit up now. I mean, and that just shows the power of Tennessee, and how the world is kind of good and equilibrium when we are good. I guess we're also biased because we just get the front row benefits of being a fan winning. But dude, unreal. As a Tennessee guy, growing up here, playing here, still living here in Nashville, like whether it's East or Middle Tennessee, and I've never been to the West Tennessee, but honestly, I just think it couldn't have been better.
Yeah, we just kind of erupted. Like
oh my gosh.
It was that buildup of just the,
Well, we did make seismic activity. That's a real thing.
Yeah,
right.
And honestly, like I have a point about that. So, I don't think that they got I don't think they got it right. Sound doesn't make the earth shake. It's when people are jumping up and down that's what makes the earth shake, right? Or is it sound? I mean,
I don't.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I would think right. That at the pivotal moment of the game, everybody's just going crazy and jumping around like crazy. And I would figure that was what would make a seismograph, tick up. But not.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think so. And all the people running around me, it probably worked out that way. I mean,
yeah.
Landon ran from the upper deck to get on the field. He got on the field before I did. It was
if I would have jumped off that wall, man, we would have had a crack in the fault line.
So you made that big divot in the checkerboard. That was you.
That was me. Yeah, did you see that too? Where they took that chunk of sod?
Hey, talking about a guy growing up.
Somebody bring in a
we got
shovel?
our grass though.
Oh, there you go.
We got it.
Yeah, dude, that's the.
I didn't make the divot. I didn't pull up turf.
Man,
I just got some grass.
I saw the picture. I saw the picture of the culprit. We don't have to go into it. I don't want to expose her. But I already exposed the. Never mind. You know,
she took the whole thing. Like she didn't leave any pieces. She's about to
start rolling up the whole turf and just rolling it back out of her house. I mean, like, it's pretty good grass. They take good care of it.
I mean, it was like there was nothing left in that spot. I wonder if she might have planted something else there.
Yeah, probably. I mean, that picture was so funny though, because she's like, it's on the ground, just like stuffing grass and sod into her purse. It's like you show this to a person that has no clue what football is, they'd be like, "What in the world are they doing there?"
Yeah,
I can't imagine. Like in England, they've probably never watched college football. They've seen NFL. What do you think about that scene last night? I mean, you have to fall in love with it though. You have to.
Yeah, got to. And also, man, kudos to the VFL Films, all the people at Tennessee football, like doing all those videos. That I just want to save them and rewatch them all the time. Like today I was just going to the page and just waiting for another one. Give me another one. Give me another one. Give me another one. So I mean, that they are doing such a good job of keeping it going and showing these memories. And also too, like, it's such a monumental thing. Like, everyone's vantage point of that moment, home, at the game, at a bar, every one of them is special. And that's the coolest part, is like seeing all these different, guys at a bar, in behind enemy lines at a bar where they're not supposed to be, or a packed Tennessee bar, or at their house, or, it was just so cool to see all those today. And I think that's the glory of the internet. You get to kind of recirculate those and let everybody see that celebration.
Yeah, you always remember where you're at. It's one of those moments.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
I think people have the Drew Gilbert Grand Slam. That's probably one of them. But man, last night was on a different level.
Oh man, I totally agree. That was easily the most electrifying atmosphere that I've ever been a part of. Like I said, I didn't go to the game. But you didn't have to go. You could feel that out, like when they were taking the goalpost down the strip. I mean, like, the whole game was. I mean, they just moved from Neyland to outside of Neyland,
I was on the field, and like, I heard the guy, like, I was on the field for probably 30 minutes, and the guy, like, 10 minutes into me being on the field, was just like, "Guys, can you please get off the field?" And like, no one was leaving.
No way, dude. Like, I bet they had like to cart people off of that.
Yeah. They were definitely ushering us out, and I was like, "There's nowhere to leave." Like, they got all the gates locked. I was like, "I can't climb up that wall. Look at me."
But props to the security guards too, because they weren't even gonna try. Like, they're just like,
absolutely. I saw videos of security guards just like, "Hey, come on," helping people down off the side, like helping them, like
one guy, he was like helping people, like when I jumped on, and he was just like dying laughing at the whole thing.
There was one from the student section, their security guard. I guess they can't technically watch the game, but he had his phone with the field goal. He right out here, just facing the field.
Yeah,
he was like, "I'm not missing this."
Yeah, he's definitely gonna catch it. Absolutely, dude. I went last year. I got the chance to go to Michigan versus Ohio State when they beat Ohio State in the Big House, and I was in the front row in the student section. So like, I got it. I got there, and I know one of my good buddies is a strength coach there. So early in the season, we hit him up like, we got to go to the Ohio State game. Crazy that they won, but I got there and I was wearing like this maroon like pullover. I'm an idiot though. Like, obviously, like, they don't even say like the word red there, So like, as soon as I got there, I was like, he was like, "You can't come in the complex." He was like, you have red on. And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "You can't wear red in here." But what I'm trying to say is, long story short, I just meandered my way, and I got to the front of the student section. I got a Michigan hoodie. I was turning around, slapping all these nerds that go there. And then after the game, we rushed the field, and I was there with Jack McPherson too. And he was there with me this last weekend. And like the atmosphere after the game, like, I'm in Ann Arbor, it's snowing 6 inches, like it's Big Ten, dude, the town was dead. There's nobody out and about, like, doing stuff like this last weekend. And that's where I know after yesterday, I was like, I went to a game where someone that doesn't really know football would argue that if they're equal or potentially Michigan is better, but like, no, absolutely not. Like, there's nobody outside. There's nobody catching stuff on fire. There's nobody jumping off buildings. You know, like people were jumping off houses in the fort, like onto stuff. Like I mean, it like that wasn't happening. It was very cordial. It was a cordial win. It's like everybody went home and drank a cup of tea and just went to bed. You know, so I mean,
I couldn't imagine it being a 7:00 game.
Oh my goodness!
We started tailgating at 5 a.m. So
yeah. Oh my gosh! Could you like I saw my limited tailgating experience. The Ole Miss game last year is the first time I've done a night game tailgate, and dude, it just keeps going. You'd be like, it's like 2:00. It's like 2:00. You've been out there for 5 hours, and you're like, all right, sweet, 5 more hours. You know, it's like, and you can't complain about it because you're in a great spot and you're in the place that you love with people that you like, but. It's a marathon, dude. It'll take it out of you.
100%.
Time flies though. You look up and you're like, oh, it's only 10, and you look up again. Oh, it's 2:30. Hey guys, let's start packing it up.
We started way too early and we made it through. I was worried I was gonna have to give it up by the fourth quarter. I was like, I'm dead. Yeah. Thankfully, there's Dunkin' Donuts in Neyland. I'd rarely go to concession stands in the stadium. Yeah, so my girlfriend ran up and got me a coffee, and I got even louder. It saved my life.
Oh wow! Shoot, I didn't realize. Dude, I gotta go. I gotta go back and see the ins and outs. Like, I've had such a limited time, and just sitting in the stands. Like, I either come back and go on the field, and then if I'm lucky enough to be with my friends that are and teammates that were a lot more important to me when I played, I'll go up to the box with them. Yeah, it's never on my own accord, I promise. Maybe once in a blue moon, you know, I would just see the right guy in the hallway, and he's like, "Hey, come on up, let's get some meat," you know. But like, it's usually not the case.
So let me ask you about that. So like, how is so since you've been back, I don't know how often you usually come back, but like, is there more of kind of welcoming with
man,
former
absolutely.
players and stuff like that?
And I go back a good amount, but also I don't want to go back all the time because every time I come back, I feel like it's just like I'm going to Disney World as a kid. Like, like when I see that like squirrel, brown squirrel furniture or something, I'm just like, I just get immediate. I'm like, all right, I'm in Knoxville, like let's go. You know, like I swear it's just like. So I don't like to wear it out, but I really do. I enjoy going back and. And guys, there's a lot of guys, and I think too this the amount of outreach and connection and real investment they have into building that bridge back with some VFLs and continuing to have the relationship with alumni. Like that's how programs continue to be successful. When they see their guys coming back all the time. And like Alvin loves Tennessee so much. He like I got to play with him, and that was easily the best athlete I ever got to play with. He was leagues ahead of everybody, but he understood the how huge Tennessee was, and like I think that's kind of and honestly I'm kind of rambling here, but that's like guys like that, and times when when you have guys like that doing. Caring about it that much, guys of that level, and they're coming back and they're setting the example of like, hey, it's cool to come back. And you see your Dobbs is coming back, and I was with Jalen Reeves-Maben last night on his bye week, and he was, coming up here on a Wednesday, planning the trip. So like there are people who are trying to get up here, and. When Heupel first came, he sent us all a picture of Neyland. It said, "Thank you for helping build this," and he signed it. I mean, a lot of good motions. Because, like, dude, like I said, like he doesn't have to do that to me. I don't feel like he needs to do that. Some people say like that I'm wrong on that, but I think that the effort is that they're putting in to bridge that connection. I mean, you got Arian Foster coming back, dude, and pouring his love out about. I mean, yeah, he was a little drunk at Waffle House, but
and from the sound of it, maybe a little bit more than drunk. But yeah, they had a good time.
Yeah, that video, man, and like those guys that every Vol fan knows, like those guys that were not coming around, they have resentment, for whatever reason it may be, to be able to kind of to break that off and just kind of move forward with what is bigger than any individual interaction, just what Tennessee is as a whole, So we're mending that. It's becoming where. we're looking at Tennessee as a university, the school, not just Tennessee as my experience with this person or what happened with this coach or what happened with this. So I think it's absolutely moving in the right direction.
That's awesome.
It's
good to hear. Like it's somebody new every week. It seemed like Cordero Patterson was there. You mentioned Arian Foster. It just seems like it's not even like football. Like it's basketball, it's baseball. It just seems like a different kind of culture. Maybe winning helps that, but it just seems different.
Yeah, and no doubt, and it too, like people. I think it's funny to see just random people of fame liking Tennessee again too. Like it's just, I mean, I guess they're not random. A lot of them are Tennessee people, but they're not people that
they
5
don't come
years
back
ago.
Often, yeah,
they're not coming to games. But now it's a marquee place to go, and that makes me think about the recruits that are coming there, and they're seeing that. Dude, if you went to that game Saturday and you're not going to Tennessee, like you either just had your eyes closed the whole game, or I don't know what's wrong. Like that. How could you not go to school there?
Yeah,
like,
and this, it's like there's more to recruiting than unfortunately just your one visit.
Sure.
And I was thinking about this before, and I was like, if you're at that game, how do you not think about wanting to play there? Well, here's the good news: the transfer portal is in full effect.
Yeah, no doubt.
You show up to a noon
Recruiting
Ohio.
Never stops.
I'm not talking about a specific person, but you show up to a noon Ohio State game, and maybe the crowd's not buzzing well, and things aren't going well. Maybe you may go back down to Knoxville.
That's right. I agree. I totally agree.
So
yeah, the FOMO was awesome. There for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
I want to. So right before you got on, we answered a question about someone asked biggest Tennessee win since, and we talked about two when you played that are obviously huge: Florida and Georgia. Unfortunately, we have right now we can't see in the future, and I think that matters. I had to go all the way back to 1998 Florida. And I don't know, that might be unfair, but like, what are your kind of thoughts there with the biggest one?
I think so too. Maybe when Ramon, like in 06, like around that time when they had a little glimpse of, I don't know if it was 06. It's just right around that ballpark.
Maybe Bama and Georgia. I think that was Georgia was their last top 10 win. I think in 2006.
Yeah, that game was big in Neyland. But I honestly can't even compare it because I wasn't there, but like, dude, like Georgia, like the Hail Mary game, insane, but it wasn't at home. So like that one, right. I think that's it's just a pivotal piece to me. Like being in Neyland and seeing the flyover at the end of the game, like that makes me want, even though it doesn't really football wise, it's the same thing, but
right.
I would say Georgia, Florida like that. And then like you said, just sometime back in the 98 season. It's got, or maybe a Ramon, I just say that because we interviewed him last week, but his year, 2006-ish, Alabama or Georgia, because that game was, neck and neck, low scoring. It's funny. And this is what I was talking about last week. And I said this on our show we did with Ramon. I was like, I promise the outcome and the stat sheet of the 2006 win is going to be the absolute opposite of what it is on Saturday evening. And it was. There's 2 touchdowns scored in 2006, one for each team. And they had kicked field goals the rest of the time. Eric Ainge had 3 interceptions in the first half. Like the completely different makeup of the game, but that's the 2 closest wins. So I thought that was really neat too, how different they were.
That's just football now too. What is your kind of thoughts on? Do you like the kind of? I think Big Ten is still, besides Ohio State, still kind of that way where it's power football.
Yeah.
Now it seems like the SEC is branching out to more offensive dominant. So what's your kind of thoughts on a offensive lineman? Which one do you prefer?
Yeah, prefer. You got to run a whole lot more playing these fast-paced SEC offenses that we see now. But I think that's just like my personal preference, just because I don't want to run around.
You like that play clock rolling down?
That's right.
I don't want to get in the huddle.
Yeah. I love seeing this. This O-line. This is like the most warm thing you can see. The O-line. Like, oh gosh, thank goodness. But honestly, I think. A coach said one time that the ball moves faster than any person can run. And I think that's what offenses do now in the SEC. Read options every play. Like find that crack, find that one place where, I could give it to this guy and he could get 3, but this guy's got this much more space and he can get 5. And it's becoming such a coaching and scripting and play calling game and matchup game. And we've known that it's always been like that. Football's always been a matchup game. If you can win your one-on-one matchup, the majority of the time, you win the game most of the time. And I think there's room for both of them, but honestly, like where football evolves is where you're not playing with 11 people, you're playing with 15 when there's 4 other coaches signaling mid play to change things and check things and call different plays. And I think, that's kind of how we see Tennessee play. We see Lane Kiffin loves doing that. I mean, the worst play ever, but now I can say this since we just won, but the most scripted series was when we were playing Alabama. Lane Kiffin was their OC. It was when I was there, and they threw something across the middle first play. I think it was Devontae Smith, took it like 80 yards to the house. And if you like broke down, I can't remember if that was the right receiver. They just had another one every year.
They had a Devontae Smith.
Yeah, they had a guy equally as good. But that first play, and then they came back because they scored on their first play. They had 5 plays scripted up right at the cracks of where we were, like of our foundation, like where the weak link was a guy bad at doing one certain thing on a post route. Was he bad? And that's why Lane Kiffin was so good at what he did, is because he just honed in on that. And it was almost kind of like I could see Lane Kiffin. This is just my guess. I could see that they're like offensive meetings, like they're probably like pulling up that dude's Facebook and like trying to find his weaknesses. Like does he sleep on his left or right side? Like do you find any pictures of him taking a nap on the beach? So all these matchup things like that. This is what a crazy answer to this question, but I think there's still. I'm gonna wrap it back. I think there's room for what happens in the Big Ten. I think it's incredibly boring, and I witnessed it last year. And I think and you can prove that with TV ratings. You look at Big Ten matchups that Big Ten fans are just kind of a different breed of people that they just live in delusion. But you look at them trying what the TV rating, what people want to watch. Like, dude, last night. That's like the best football game you could ever want to watch. They're scoring all the time. We're going down the field back and forth, and it's close the whole time. It's not just like one team is scoring. So I mean, right. I would watch that game 100 times over before I watched 100 different Big Ten games. But I think they're both. There's space for both of them because a Big Ten team can beat an SEC team because of that play style, and an SEC team can beat a Big Ten team because of that their play style. So I think it goes both ways, and it's just whatever your personnel fits, that's what you what you got to roll with.
But you prefer the Big Ten. That's what
I'd say so. As a player, yes. I mean, look at just I love talking about the Iowa offensive line. Like I just feel like they're all like just fat and happy. I feel like they just eat a bunch of food. They just deadlift 900 pounds like every day, and then they go to the NFL because they're ready to roll. But I think I think a Big Ten offensive lineman has the more I fit more of that persona. Your lumberjack kind of like go not wearing sleeves in the cold kind of guy. But SEC offensive linemen are also like they got 6 packs and they run a sub 540. It's kind of a different animal.
Maybe the credit of the offense maybe sway that any at all. Scoring 7 touchdowns. Does that maybe help change your answer?
Yeah, no, I would not ever want to play. I'm just saying, I would never want to. If you deconstruct this anymore, other than like physically, do I like standing in a huddle more or running around the field more? Like if it has anything to do with the teams that I'm playing within, then it's going to be Tennessee. The answer is Tennessee every time. But if it's just run around the field. I want to huddle every now and then.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Huddle. And it can't be fun. Here's the bad thing about scoring 7 touchdowns too. You could end up lifting your running back 7 times in the air. That's a lot of extra work.
That's right. You're
instead of doing
so
it 3
right.
times.
And these shoulders, man, you got limited. I'm telling you, man, I couldn't doing that a couple times. I'm hearing clicks and clacks, man. So I'm sure the other guys are like that too.
Absolutely. And I did want to ask you too about the Smoky Mountain Club. I don't know if we'll go back to other stuff. You're involved in that, and you guys have a bunch of. I think you mentioned having Ramon on this week and Josh Dobbs on there. You talked about your level of involvement. Obviously, that's involved. I guess not technically with the program, but with the guys in the program. What has that kind of been like, and how do you see that helping not just the players but the program too?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And so I got involved with this with Josh Dobbs, and Aaron Murray reached out to him to kind of start off a branch at Tennessee like they did at Georgia the previous year. So essentially, we have so much content around Tennessee football, so much, and we love it. And I consume it. I consumed it as a player. You know, I was on Vol Twitter. I was following these people that are funny. I was following all these people, all these accounts that are putting their opinions out because I'm interested in that. I like to hear that. You know, so you got to know what to hear and what not to hear.
Right.
But now what Smoky Mountain Club does is we get information straight from the source, and not necessarily like we're not sitting here trying to break any news. You know, like we're talking to these athletes, comparing our times like we had at UT. You know, whether it's former players, current players, you know, really just getting on there and having a platform to have content driven by players for fans, where the ultimately all money generated, the vast majority of outside of operational expenses goes directly back to the players. And actually, you know, I'm super excited to be a part of it. And I think a really good example of this happened today, and this might be a little controversial, but I think it's worth talking about. So we had this GoFundMe today, raising money for the goalposts. And I'm all for that's how you run businesses, is you capitalize on momentum, and it's how you run organizations. But this is a perfect example of how NIL can change this scape. So imagine if that GoFundMe wasn't for 4 metal poles, and it's for 4 guys that are this close to getting a scholarship, and they're broke, and they're like I was when I was in school, where you're contributing, you're going on the road, you're not staying at home. You know, you're a guy that's almost there. And what if the money that we were emotional, we had a huge win, so many positive emotions, everyone's charged up. What if we directed that money to the players that won the game, and not this arbitrary amount for a goalpost? When I love Tennessee so much to the day I die. But I just think that NIL and things like the Smoky Mountain Club, I'm not even sitting here trying to say Smoky Mountain Club is what you should give your money to, not the goalposts. I'm just saying that this is, but
I'll say that for you. Clip that in my voiceover. Just do that.
But that's the kind of thing that we're not there yet. You know, it's such a new concept. We're so used to the institutions being on their side, as you know, that's the face of these players. But what NIL does is it gives them their faces back to where they can capitalize on that. Now, that's contingent on if they are interested and driven to develop their brand in the correct way. There's a lot of things you have to do that. It's a full-time job to upkeep a brand on the internet, you know. So, you know, there's a whole lot of caveats to that. But I think, you know, what Smoky Mountain Club does is it's an avenue for players to connect with fans, and fans to feel that when they pay for something, pay for any Vol related content with these people, they know that this money goes directly to the people that are, you know, getting you out of your house to come and to watch this game, the ones that are putting on the show for you. And I think, you know, what Smoky Mountain Club does in the long run, I don't want to be the guy interviewing people. Dobbs doesn't want to be the guy interviewing people. We want to put a guy in a chair that's an athlete. We want to help them all behind the scenes. We want to make it simple to work, just like you guys shot me that link to join here. They do the same thing as hosts of their own show. And they create that through this platform for others to enjoy and get compensated for what they're doing, for content that fans would absolutely adore. I mean, like seeing Dobbs and Hendon talk about football, you know, given Hendon is a very busy, very, very busy schedule, and each week it gets busier, and now it's even the busiest it's ever been. But, you know, seeing those kind of conversations, you know, a current quarterback and a previous quarterback that's in the NFL, you know, talking about how they see plays, just a brand new look at the content that we do around Tennessee football. So, I mean, I think, you know, this is my long-winded explanation because I'm passionate about it. I really think that, you know, NIL is a positive thing. I think it gets a lot of negative light because of these horror stories that we fabricate about what could potentially happen. But what it can do is change so many people's lives and, you know, put them on a trajectory to start their career as outside of football, whatever it may be, while they're in school, and capitalize on the power of what a school is like Tennessee.
Yeah, and it's really cool that you are doing this because I mean, you obviously didn't get to have this opportunity, so you could hold a grudge and be like, "I'm not doing anything with
Yeah,
NIL."
yeah.
But yeah, y'all doing this for the program is really cool, and I think it would have been huge for a guy like Velus Jones who had kind of his own YouTube page. Like this would have been a
Exactly.
perfect opportunity for him to kind of
Yeah, and
showcase that and reach a bigger audience.
yeah, and I think about my time back at when I was at Tennessee. I did this thing because I lived with Josh Dobbs when I was at school, and I started this Twitter account called Life in the Shadows, where we would always go around, and he would always get asked to take pictures of him, but Dobbs always hung out with the O linemen, so it'd be Dobbs and 5 O linemen, and we would take a picture in the foreground while Dobbs was in the background taking a picture with a fan, and we called it Life in the Shadows.
I love
Dude, it
that
went
Twitter page.
crazy. It went
I love that.
crazy.
Yeah, it was a great one.
We got a live Sports Center interview, 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning, like prime time. But like that moment when that was done, I could have taken that 8,000 Twitter follower page. I could have gotten brand deals. We could have done T-shirts. We could have done all of this stuff now in today's era.
Right.
And that kind of stuff is what I know that there's real opportunity if you just have the effort to put in. All I did was make a Twitter account and take pictures. But that inside look, that stuff that you're not seeing other places it's kind of the same beat of the drum as what I'm talking about with Smoky Mountain Club. It's that real, genuine interaction of what's happening in these athletes' day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Aaron Murray. I saw where he said it. He has to do it. He's going to get you a set in Athens.
Yeah, man. I've talked. I text him, just about every other time. Actually, the other day I sent him a video of when they threw Auburn through that. He was playing against Auburn, and they threw that long ball to one of Auburn's receivers, and he kind of like bobbled it, and then ended up catching it and scoring and beating him. And then like the next clip, as soon as he scores, is just Aaron Murray looking sad. It's great. I just sent that to him, and I was like, "Hey, do you remember this?" But yeah, Aaron's great. I really hoping I would love to go play a show down there, and because that's what I'm doing now here in Nashville is writing music, and I'm just turning the page on getting it to sing in the correct venues. I've already correct meaning like the ladder climbing venues. Every time you play a show for people is great because you let people listen to music, and that's a crazy benefit and a blessing we all have, that just to enjoy music. But now to play the music game, you get to start playing in the right rooms where the right suits are and the right hands to shake and the right, whatever you want to call that. But if Aaron would give you a little shot to come down there, dude, I'd play whatever they want.
You play
exclusively Rocky Top.
A lot of Rocky Top.
Exclusively Rocky Top. Yeah. I'll play whatever they want as long as every song is Rocky Top.
That'd be. Yeah, I hope that happens because Rocky Top's going to be played. And Georgia fans were cheering for Alabama this week. That's how hated, and I love how hated Tennessee is because
I love it too.
It's better to be hated than forgotten. It's
no
way
doubt.
better to be hated than forgotten. So
I enjoy it. You still gotta get on the internet and talk to be hating, and you still say the word Tennessee, and it still makes our name trend more. So I mean, like you just had to feel the fire, and then let alone let Vol fans see what you say negative about Tennessee on Twitter because you'll get dragged quickly. And I've seen people from the woodworks in a completely non-related tweet or Instagram post, and like somebody will have a little slight jab, like, or at least it wasn't like Tennessee last weekend, and then somehow there's a Tennessee fan that sees it and they just immediately unload on him like, hey, you thought you could hide? No, you can't.
There's not a single fan base that carries more receipts than we do.
Yeah, exactly. I like it though. I like it.
Speaking of just random shots, and this wasn't exactly random, but maybe bold shots. And I don't know how locker room material kind of works at the college level. What do you think about Alabama releasing I don't think I'd call it a hype video, more of a trash talk video on Friday?
Yeah, I think that's an uncharacteristic thing out of Alabama. I think they've done a lot of uncharacteristic things this year as a team, to be honest with you.
Very strange.
Yeah, like it's and this is not trying to like we beat a great team. They're phenomenal. They have a Heisman winning quarterback, but they're doing stuff that they don't usually do. Like they're not ever the people that are trash talking anyone because they generally win a lot of games to where they don't have to do that. So like the fact that they even are releasing that and poking the bear of what is, how many people are behind getting ready to just absolutely dismantle that tweet as soon as it hits the internet. Like, yeah, it's uncharacteristic. I don't know. I think, all is fair. I think it's a rivalry. I think that's good stuff, but like that was really uncharacteristic to do that.
I just think, Tennessee players are going to see that. Like, why give them anything else to be pissed off about? What are we?
Yeah, that's right.
And it's not like just a standard hype video. Hey, we're showing losses. All right. No, we've got a guy that played next to you 2 years ago. You're making fun of you right now. So
that's honestly, it probably would have worked out a whole lot better if they would have won,
Hey, everything's nice when you're winning. Everything's kosher when you're winning.
I mean, poor that we won't say his name, that former linebacker at Tennessee. I mean, he had to delete social media. Like, there's no way he could ever look at that many mentions.
Yeah. Dude, speaking of deleting social media, the funniest person that I play with as far as getting roasted on Twitter was Colton Jumper, dude. He was so dude. Colton is an athlete, dude. He went to the NFL, like he played in the NFL. Yeah, he got hurt. Like, it was just so funny how his perception of being a dude with red hair. Yeah, that absolutely dismantled anyone's ability to trust him. Like, as soon as there was a way to blame him. So, like, I'm really good friends with Colton still. And, like, seeing after the game where, like, he would just be like, all right, I got to delete Twitter again. He would just go through phases. And Colton was very mature and was a good sport about it. And would just delete it. And then every now and then he said, when I just needed to make sure, feel a little worse about myself, I'd re-download it and just go type my name in. And it would just be, And it's a double-edged sword too, because when ball fans are great when we're winning too, but also they're gonna give people an earful when they're not. And I'd rather be like that than nobody coming to the game, And every player will tell you that same thing because that's life. People aren't gonna like you, especially on a grand stage like that.
It's the worst part of social media. It is, and it sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Yeah, it's not gonna go away though. Players don't expect it to go away. Sometimes it's a boiling point, but it's.
Well, and I wish I could be on social media during games. I think it's kind of fun to be like, how did I feel? But I'm so emotional. I'm like, I just want to be like, oh my God, I hate that guy. I don't want to be that guy.
Fire off.
So I'm just like, phone in pocket during game. I'm emotional. Let me process at least like an hour after, and then we'll get on Twitter. Like, let me get out of the emotions of it, and we'll move on. So
the Wi-Fi coming in next year. I don't know if that's such a great idea.
Stadium-wide Wi-Fi?
It's supposed to.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I mean, like now, like you can fire off tweets, but they're not going to send until maybe late in the
smoke settles
when the game's over. Yeah.
So you plug an Ethernet cable into your phone. It's not gonna.
I try to do score predictions like that first game, and I like tweeted out like a touchdown, and we were up like 28-0. It was like 7-0. Jabari Small just ran a touchdown. They're like, "Hey, you're behind." Like everybody was like commenting to us. I'm like, I know. I tried to send it 45 minutes ago. It just now.
Yeah, you're behind. Like, dude, I promise I know. I've been behind all day. I've been able to contact anybody all day. I've been sending pigeons tailgate to tailgate trying to figure out where everybody is.
Dude, it was mayhem. My phone broke because when I came out of the stadium and finally got service, I had people I hadn't talked to in years texting me. Dude. Congrats. I'll bail you out of jail tonight if you need. Like everything.
Yeah, I loved it.
Someone called my sister and was like, hey, if I need to watch your kids to go get them out of jail, I can. I was like, how did I get this rap? First off, I'm not that crazy. Fine. Yeah,
at least they reached out to you. They know you care about it.
I had a lot of offers, so it was. I should have maybe taken them up on it.
You had a get out of jail free card that day,
dude. I bet the best time would have been in a drunk tank in Knoxville last night. I bet there was some funny I mean, obviously, if you don't want to be in prison or jail, come on. You want to be able to walk the streets. But like, I think that'd be like one place. I'm not a man that gets twisted up with the law, but that'd be a place where it'd be pretty funny to experience an evening. I bet there are some characters in there.
Yeah, that paddy wagon ride would have been fun.
Minus all the piss on the floor from.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
it would have been perfect.
It would have been perfect.
Dude, we've had you on for a while. I apologize.
I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. I love. I mean, it's talking about stuff that I love. So I can sit here and talk about it until you guys get tired of it. So.
We did mention your music briefly, though. I want you to just let everyone know where they can find you on Twitter, your music, and then Smoky Mountain Club too.
Yeah, for sure. So, yep, I am starting my career as a songwriter. I've been writing with a little bit with Eclipse Publishing Group. I wrote a song with a guy that's I don't want to name drop him, but he's 2-time Grammy nominated, like, multi-platinum guy. He's been in the business for a long time. So I'm drinking through a fire hose. I'm going to use that euphemism again because that's how the music and the football world have crazy parallels in terms of just the pace of play and how fast and sporadic things are and how much things change. But, I got my first songwriter round coming up October 26th. So it's six writers. I'm the only one unsigned. It's going to be big. It's in Whiskey Row on Broadway in Nashville. Okay. So I'm kicking that off. I don't really know too much details about it, or I would plug the actual thing. But as far as released music, I've withheld a lot of my music to be released because it's just like another thing. I would love to be able to spew it all out, but the way the music business works is you got to have something in the chamber. So I got a lot of music done and waiting to where I can ink some deals down and get paid some sustainable money for it. And I'm obviously not going to hold on to it forever because music's you got to let your art live in the music world because it'll die on a hard drive, but it'll live somewhere else. If one person's listening to it, it's good. So yeah, there'll be an end where I'll eventually just release them on my own accord. But just playing the cards now, and moving into that music world, and it's a lot of fun. I'm playing some shows in East Tennessee this summer, and then now moving down to Nashville. So a lot of fun.
You'll have to let us know when you have some shows. We have some friends that live in Nashville, so we go there pretty often. Yeah. And then in East Tennessee as well. We'd love to.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I mean, I guess I'll say something about Smoky Mountain Club too. Smoky Mountain Club, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Smoky MTN Club. Like I said, we're a player-driven fan experience for Tennessee football content. And the money that comes through, whether it's sponsorship dollars, whether it's subscription dollars, all that money is pipelined right back to our athletes that we sponsor. And right now we're at around 40 or so of the current Tennessee athletes. We like to, in addition to this content, we're adding, we had a tailgate for the Florida game where we had Josh Dobbs and Grant Williams, Theo Vaughn came by. So it's a fun time, man. It's new. It's a new thing. And it's just a way to give back to the players and see some new content about their lives and their day to day, and what makes them tick on and off the field. So, yeah. Smoky Mountain Club, and we're not going anywhere. We got just signed. This is another big thing I should have said earlier. We just signed some. We're doing a lot of investment stuff right now, behind the scenes, just to kind of build our base up and our structure of how we're positioned as a business and a company. But we just got partnered with Brinks Sports Media, and that's the guy that started Sports Science. And so that he's going to give us a big facelift on our content and, what our editing and our, just kind of that process. And you guys know how that is. It's an absolute grind to keep things tailored and correct and going well. So a lot of exciting things, but ultimately it's just all geared towards getting back to the guys that are putting in that work and putting in that time to give us all times like we had yesterday. And the ability for us to come on a show and talk about it, it's about those guys and it's about that team and the work that they put in. And Smoky Mountain Club is what we are creating to, give back to those guys.
Yeah, 100%.
Since you mentioned Theo Vaughn, I got one last question before I let you go. Mm-hmm. How jealous are you of him and Caleb Presley getting to dump the water?
Yeah, I had mixed emotions about that one, because honestly, as a player, that's a big moment, dumping water is good. I don't want to be this naysayer and say it's bad. No, at all. Not at all. That just showed people how fun our school is and how, how open arms, Caleb went to North Carolina, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, Theo's has been in the swamp for 20 years. So, I mean, it's cool to see those two guys that don't have that real connection to our school, just reaching out and coming and showing their face there and really, and they love it now. They publicly talk about how much they love it. And I think that's just the magic of the school. I think I'm super jealous that I didn't get to dump on with them though, because I would have been right there too. No, for sure.
Yeah, you should have done it last night.
Yeah, I should have
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
was your turn.
Yeah, I already looked like I had something dumped on me. I was so sweaty from running around and jumping all the time, being nervous, man.
I mean, I wore a full tracksuit yesterday, so I sweat so much.
You lost 20 pounds.
It smells terrible.
You got to fight next weekend. You're just getting ready.
Yeah. Can't wait.
It was a Nike tracksuit from like the 90s. I got it from that Instagram vintage UT account. It's awesome.
Oh man, I bet it was awesome.
It was sick. So
yeah,
it was worth it.
Absolutely, yeah, that's right. And you sweat out all your demons, man. That's how you could keep going.
Yeah,
100%.
All that beer.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, Thomas, hey, we really appreciate you, man. Appreciate your time. Yeah, love
to do it again.
Do this.
Yeah,
see you perform. Also, that'd be sick. So
and we started. And this is another thing we're doing. We started a segment on Smoky Mountain Club just solely dedicated to putting you guys on our platform. So like last week, Grit Knox and Austin Burlage came on, and that was just the two guys that I've known the longest, just from a consumer of Tennessee information. But like, I'd love to have you guys on there too.
To the pod.
Cool.
They've both been on.
Awesome, dude. That's awesome. I think Austin's the sharpest dude ever, and to have the attention to detail to create these videos that he's doing and these breakdowns, like that is not easy to do. I mean, like, football staffs hire 12 people to do that. It's a all hands on deck thing to do, to break down stuff and derive conclusions from TV copies of film. Like he's doing a really good job. So we wanted to let him share that too, because that's what our whole premise is about, is like, it's everything through a new lens. Like we see Vol Twitter content as consumers just as much as we do as players. It's on our timelines, and you see that. And I think that you guys as fans, and as like and like for you guys especially, having a huge presence on the internet of providing information to people, we want to kind of flip the script and let you ask you guys questions. Awesome. Like, how'd you get started? What makes you interested in Tennessee? So we'd love to have you both on that one for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. Don't ask us how we got started.
Well, save it so you can do it.
Yeah,
because I will now.
Well, we appreciate you, man. We'd love to do it. I love Tennessee. I love talking about it. I do it. I feel like 24/7. So we appreciate you, man. And golly, go Vols! What about
go Vols? The sweetest day to say it too, huh?
Oh,
sweetest day.
Absolutely.
You have a great evening. Have a wonderful week.
Yeah,
happy homecoming week. See you later.
All right. See you, man.
See ya. We appreciate VFL Thomas Edwards. That dude's hilarious.
That was sick.
That dude's hilarious.
He's great. Great.
I've seen him on Twitter, and he's funny. And I've heard, we just had Dylan Texas, had a class with him at UT, how funny he was. So I've known that for a long time. That's the first time getting to talk to him. He's awesome. He rocks.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, he's a guy, like, he mentioned like he played some, but was kind of a backup at times. But he would have made money, in this day and age with NIL, just because of his personality. So, props to him for doing this NIL opportunity, as well as trying to make a living doing music as well. So, really appreciate him. We didn't really get into his playing days very much, but
a little here and there, a little bit. But I realized it last night or this morning.
He had to talk about the game. How do you not?
How do you not? So but we'll do it again with him, and we'll definitely get into that stuff. Golly, though, I mean, what a freaking weekend! And
man, we need to give ourselves a little bit of credit. Getting there at 5 a.m.
I woke up at 3:55.
And what time we go to bed? Maybe midnight. And we didn't sleep
later than that for me. I couldn't sleep because
I
laid in bed.
Yeah, I was
went to bed at midnight.
It was hard to. I didn't get much sleep, but wouldn't take it back.
Absolutely not, dude. If I could do that every weekend, I would. Like that, relive that experience. I would do it every weekend. I told Emily at the end of the game, "This is the greatest night of my life," and I don't know if anything can top it. And I hope I'm wrong in January.
Yeah, I know my wife was going to see that, so I didn't. I said one of the best days of my life.
I told her. I just told her.
Well, you haven't been married yet. So.
I told her. No, I told her. Like nothing. I made a point to say nothing's gonna top it.
You're a liar. I don't believe
You can
for a
ask
second.
her.
If you don't-
said that to her.
You did not. You forget. You go to like a wedding like every week. There is no way you told her that your wedding day would not top that Alabama game. There's no way. I don't
You
believe
can ask her.
I don't believe you.
You want me to? She's at work. I was gonna say, you want me to call her?
See, there you go. Excuses.
You can ask her. We'll call her on Thursday. We'll bring her in on Thursday and
All right.
and see about it.
Well, I'll ask her after your wedding day. Like we'll both.
That
be
doesn't
there.
count because
Yeah, it does.
after the wedding day doesn't count.
What?
You can't ask that question after that. Also, I don't like talking about this because it's weird. But go on.
Whatever, dude. You're basically married.
Fan questions. We have any more? I know we got 2 down. We have any more?
I think that's all we got before.
Okay.
Unless we had. I don't know. I'm just man.
I love Tennessee fans, and that's another thing too. Like social media is so. I don't know. I just got a TikTok that someone texted me and said, "Landon, LOL." So I'm gonna have to watch it.
Is it of me? Am I in
Do you
it?
get hit with the field goal? The field goal's right here.
No.
I don't know where you're at. I'm waiting.
Is it guys interviewing?
It's this cook the book bets guy.
Oh yeah, I did talk to them.
Did you?
Yeah.
You're a legend. What? You didn't tell me that,
Dude. It's like in my video, like where I'm on the field, I'm literally like jumping around saying we effing did that, and then a guy's like, "Sir," and like I turn off the video, and that happens right after it.
Why was he yelling, "Sir"? You trying to get you to stop?
Yeah, he wanted to ask me that.
I was in the concourse and I dropped the F-bomb and there were like 2 kids right there and the mom looked at me and I go, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And she's like, "It's okay. We understand."
I mean, it comes with the territory. You knew what you were getting.
Oh my god, dude, that is amazing. I'm so glad I just watched that.
Will you send it to me?
Yeah.
Who sent it to you?
Zach Winkle. Shout out Z Wink. Oh my gosh. You're a legend, dude. You have one of the best videos. I'll say that you have the best video not at field level. I believe that 100%. There's some field level ones that are good. You have the best video that's not at field level.
Dude, when I ran like out of like into the concourse, like down, there wasn't a soul in like it was empty. It was like if I didn't know there's like the stadium was like full, I would like there would be no one there.
That's so cool. That's awesome. Oh, and you pretty much like because your dad didn't run down with you. You pretty much just like lived that experience I mean, obviously with 100,000 people, but like by yourself in that moment. Just
Yeah,
you.
dude. The craziest thing I saw was so like I had the idea like running down there. I was like, all right, so how am I gonna get down? Like, what would be the easiest way? I'm like, dude, Alabama fans, they're not getting on the field.
You ran through the Alabama section?
Oh yeah.
You did not tell me any of this.
Dude, I passed a lady. She was like, I don't know. She was going toward the stand, like down the steps, and like she had a cane. And I was like, there was like a line. I was like, why is there a line? There's literally no one going down the field. And I like turned my head. I could see a lady in a cane, just like. So I'm like, damn. So I literally go through the Alabama section, like through the bleachers.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So a lady with a cane got on the field.
I don't know if she ever made it. I had to pass.
Let's pretend she did.
Yeah.
Standing over you.
I mean, it reminded me of, I know different gender, but it reminded me of the guy on Up. You know, he had his little walker thing.
Also, Landon, you don't, unless you wanted to for yourself, I will respect it if you do, but you're a legend, dude. You're a freaking legend.
I had so much fun yesterday. I had to get there. You said meet on the 50. That's where I had to get.
I was disappointed in our section.
I thought you were going to beat me there because I was up top.
Well, so I didn't. I'm superstitious. You know me. I didn't want to leave my section early. I didn't even get my cigars out of my pack early. I did not pull it out until we won. And I did grab Emily because I thought people would come from behind us. Like right before the kick, I just say, "Hey, if they make it in, grab my shirt and go with me. Like do not stop. Go with me." But no one in front of us went, so we didn't go. But it was really cool to experience the initial rush of everyone, to like see it happen. It was very cool. So I got to both get on the field, and it was very cool. I wish I'd lived your experience a little bit, but I also enjoyed mine.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh man, I'm watching this.
You're at the like very end, dude. That is awesome. That is so cool.
I hate myself for doing that, but I don't regret it at all.
Yeah, it's one of those things you're like, man, I kind of wish that didn't live on the
Dude,
internet.
I had
But
no
how
clue
can you
who they
not?
were. I was like, you have a microphone, so I don't know where this is going to end up at. But
I kind of wish we had brought our mic, but I didn't know if they'd me take it in the stadium.
they got it in there.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm like, all right, I should have brought it. Oh well, I don't care.
Next time.
Yeah, we'll do it again next week, right, Randy?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna be 100% honest. I watched maybe 20 minutes of college football yesterday besides Tennessee, Alabama.
And I really
talk
don't care
about it.
We're at the top of college football.
Yeah,
Michigan beat Penn State. That's about all I really care about. USC lost.
God,
Vandy still sucks.
That's the game I watched was the USC because it was on.
Yeah, it was on when I got home. Yeah,
so that's what I watched.
You want to get the segments? Do you really have a whole lot?
I don't have a whole lot. I've got, I think, one of each. So I have so many pictures from yesterday, so I may not even be able to like find what I have.
Scroll.
Yeah, it feels like I'm scrolling back a week.
I do want to say props to the tailgate. That spot's awesome. I say we go there every week.
We'll be there.
Had a lot of people show up, so thank you everybody who showed up and showed out. It was awesome to see everybody. I'd like to get even more people there.
And I want to.
We had so much food left over. We need more people.
Yeah,
there.
And I want to give a shout out to everybody that tipped us. Tailgating's not, especially one that big. Like it's not easy to do, but I love doing it. And I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to bring all the food and a lot of beer. And I know our friends that do it are happy to make the Jello shots and bring some food too. And but it's a time consuming endeavor and it's expensive. Y'all didn't have to tip us. But we appreciate it. All that money is going to go towards the next tailgate, which will actually be Kentucky, not UT Martin. I'll be out of town. Landon will be around campus, so I don't know if he'll be at a bar before. He may tweet out his location and stuff to kind of do a hangout similar to what we do at away games. But the next one will be Kentucky. All the money from yesterday that was given to us will go straight towards that tailgate, and like we do it for the experience with you guys. Like that's it. Like we do the show for the experience with you guys. So I'm super grateful that people like I didn't know, like I know we've gotten some, people that give us a little bit just to help out. And then obviously all the people that make the food. So I knew a lot of people were kind of willing to do that. That was really cool. And kind of, it makes it seem like not only doing the tailgate, but like doing this stuff's worth it. And it was a ton of fun. Ton of fun,
absolutely. Man. I mean, ditto, whatever you just
said.
dude, I'm just super appreciative. I'm just glad people like it. Like maybe not as much as me, but they love they look for on Saturdays for Tennessee to play so they can come to our tailgate and then go to the game. I mean, that's a lot of people don't even go to the game. They just
we have
come
a lot of people
to
just
hang out and fellowship a little bit and do what we do. We drink, we shotgun beers and Jello shots and whatever else. Watch football.
I did shotgun a beer yesterday. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I had a PBR.
Ugh. I thought I paced myself really well, though, man. I did good.
Yeah, I didn't wake up with a headache. So
yep.
Great.
Yep. My first most important, this one goes out to, I wish I knew who it was, but it's an audience member at Vol Calls. He asked Coach Heupel if we could run a slant because we knew Hank T couldn't cover it.
Dude, I rewatched it and like noticed every time he missed a tackle. I'm like, I loved it.
It was awesome, man. Absolutely, it was so cool.
He did almost have a pick, but he dropped it.
Hey, old Jabari Small lit him up.
Oh yeah,
Lit him up. Whew. You got a most important? Were you able to find it?
that I was.
I've got one more if you want to
Yeah,
still
go ahead.
look. Or
Yeah, go ahead.
did you see the Colorado Avalanche's trophy or not trophy, ring celebration
Mm-mm.
presentation? I mean, dude, it was like this box. I doubt you'll be able to see it, but they had like a projector when they opened the box of like highlights.
Oh yeah, that's sick.
Dude, that's so sick. I think these like rings are over the top, but I'm like, if you do them over the top like that, that's cool.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I feel like Alabama couldn't do that, but like Colorado, I don't know how good the Avalanche are. Like
I have no idea. Don't.
every season, but if it's something like a big deal, like last night would have, if it was a national championship, absolutely, like Tennessee should have something like that.
Yeah.
But if it's like where you've won 8,
Yeah, it gets a little tiresome.
yeah,
You got to like
maybe
very
not.
slowly, progressively make them better because eventually you run out of ideas.
Right. Any fails?
Everybody, especially the Bama, they call themselves insiders that fell for the RGW Richard West tweets this week. Idiots.
Yeah.
Idiots.
100%.
Oh my gosh, I did not realize this. Vol Football tweeted the goalposts have left the building in all caps.
Oh yeah.
I didn't see that. So like I'm not on Twitter. Dude, my phone legitimately would not work. I had so many texts and calls coming in. It was nuts.
Yeah, a lot of people, like, I didn't have their number saved, so I was just like, they're like,
I was like-
congrats. Hope you're
I
having
was
a
like,
great
thank
night."
you. Who is this?
Oh, I just said thanks.
I hope if you're listening to this, I lied to a lot of people and said I got a new phone recently. I'm so sorry. I just didn't want to seem like a jerk. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
But I had
You
to.
do that. Sorry, I got a new phone.
Yeah, I do. And I'm really bad about saving numbers. Like really bad about saving numbers.
I'm bad about that too.
That's why I do like the iPhone
Like I think in the
thing where it's like
tailgate,
maybe
I don't have
maybe
like everybody
Landon.
saved. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I talk to you and my wife every day. And that's about it.
Love it.
That was
my
my only failed. I mean, just the whole Henry T narration.
Dude, it's so stupid. Also, I want to like if I'm him, I'm like I'm not doing that. It just puts me in a spotlight I don't need to be in for this game.
Gotta be
I'm
careful.
already in a spotlight. Whatever.
Yep, gotta be careful. I mean, I posted about it, so your fault. You put it out there.
Well, I mean, listen. We played a freaking symphony for you for 60 minutes. If you didn't enjoy that, Hank, I don't know what to do for you.
Yeah, you think any of those guys are regretting it? How about failing that? Failing guys that left and didn't give Josh Heupel a chance. How about
I
fail
don't-
to
I
that
think-
Tennessee fan who chose Alabama and didn't give Josh Heupel a chance? How about that?
I think the only ones that regret it are the real Tennessee guys that were maybe asked to leave. Because I think there were some, like, I think based on what we know, but I think he was asked to leave probably. At least he didn't go to Alabama, though.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like the guys who, like, whether they had to leave or not, were on a different team, and to see Tennessee have this success, I think they're like, damn.
I think it's the Tennessee guys are regretting it for sure. Like when I say that, I mean like they.
Apparently, Tyon Evans was in the locker room celebrating last night. Louisville had a bye week. There's a picture of him with Tyler Barron smoking a cigar. I don't know. I have no clue. Did he just blend in? I mean,
I kind of wondered that. Like, could I have gotten in the locker room if I tried last night? Honestly, I probably could have. I say this. I do not have a lot of confidence about myself. So when I say this, I don't entirely mean it, but I also kind of mean it because it's the one time I'm going to say this about myself. I was the freshest dressed there last night.
You look good. You look good on the grill, too, with the apron on.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably why you sweat a lot, too, over that grill.
Yeah. I sweat way more at the game jumping up and screaming, though, than I did over the grill. A lot more. Yep.
Yesterday was weird with the weather. It was cold in the morning, like
It was
freezing
freezing.
cold.
I had to put on a hoodie
Yeah,
under my jacket.
I was wearing gloves.
Well, you're just
I hate you.
I forgot about that. You're making me rethink my legend status. I forgot about
Whatever,
that.
dude. Where are you going next week?
That doesn't mean anything.
Fall weddings, man. Why do you have so many?
Because Emily has so many friends.
Oh, that's the sorority.
Yeah, pretty much all of them. But not even that. Some childhood.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of weddings this year too because of
why
our
is she
friends.
so friendly?
She sucks.
She did have a great picture of like, where's Waldo, and it's just me and you just cheesing.
She told me she wasn't going to be my content creator. She was last night. She took a lot of great pictures. I did not take a single picture on my phone.
There looks like the one, I don't know if it's like right after, but it looks like you were about to cry.
I didn't cry, which is weird that I looked like that. I hope I don't get emotional doing this. Dude, I just like, my dad would be ecstatic right now. I don't know if I would have been able to keep him off the field, which is like, he's normally not like that. But 15 years, and he hated Alabama more than anyone I knew.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone. So it was like, that's the only thing I thought about. Like right when we kicked it, that's all I was like.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome that Brad got to come to the tailgate after. Like, literally, like, as soon as I got to the tailgate, my dad was there. Like, he was like, that's why I wanted you to be a Tennessee fan. That exact. That's why you had a shirt that said the good, the bad, the ugly, and the ugly was always Alabama.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, my idea to stop in Tuscaloosa was like, I think that's what my dad would have done.
I mean, it was a perfect. As soon as you said it, I'm like, hell yeah.
Like, every insult he could think of to go to Alabama, and he was like way nicer than I am as a human being. And anything he could do to diss Alabama, he did. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah, it was and like to be sitting in my family's seats too, and like my grandmother. So I get home or my sister's house, and my grandmother stayed awake until I got home to hear about it. I didn't think she would, and she said, she was like, "Daddy Bump would have loved these pictures." So it's like those were my granddad's seats, my dad's seats, and then mine now, and it was awesome. So it was like family affair for sure.
That's awesome,
and that's what makes Tennessee special.
Yeah, it means more.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, guys, it's been a long episode, but it's been a great episode. Man,
we could keep going if we needed to.
Good. Yeah. Got to work tomorrow. That sucks.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening.
Cheers.
We'll be back on Thursday. Love to get some more VFLs football wise. We've had a lot kind of baseball and stuff like that. I'd like to get more football players on like Thomas and guys like that really are still invested in the program. Mm-hmm. And hopefully Josh Heupel continues this train where we're winning, number one, but also, getting those former players involved more as well.
And I think it's cool too. I just want last comment from me for the day. I think it's really cool that obviously it's got to be facilitated from the top, and that includes like Danny White and Donde Plowman. Like he talked about, he's like hung out with the offensive lineman. Like it's an involvement from it. It's not like he just comes to practice and watches or anything. Like he's coming to tailgates. He's going to games. He's getting to hang out. And I mean, you'll see it. I mean, guys from like if we've been to the VFL tailgate. It's not just guys from Bobby Graham's era. It's everyone.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you've always heard about that brotherhood, but that makes that really puts it in perspective,
right?
When he was talking about that. So yeah, really cool, guys. Thanks again. We are bringing the boat in, hopefully with the goalpost, and we out.